Oh, good to have you with us. Just gone 7 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, halfway to the weekend.
Yeah.
Good to have you with us. I'm Gareth Edwards.
And we do have a special guest, of course. This morning we'll be taking you through, of course, just questions that we have prepared for him, but also around what we all witnessed yesterday, Sowetans marching, of course, to the Joburg Mayor's office. And we just want to hear, as former mayor of Johannesburg and the City of Joburg, how would he have handled those issues and how deep-rooted are some of those issues around power and infrastructure within Soweto.
And in case you're wondering who we're talking about, it's Herman Mashaba, of course. Action SA is leader Herman Mashaba and former Joburg mayor. You might not recognize him. He's not wearing his bright green outfit today. He's not wearing a green tie. Morning. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for making me to be here this morning.
Right,
supposed to be still in bed now, but
we normally are as well, but we're here.
You know, I'm used to taking instructions.
How badly and how glad are you that you're not the Joburg mayor right now?
I think for me, this is the work of God. I remember when my team suggested that I stand because of obviously my name recognition in the City of Joburg. I said, guys, we're going to have a problem because what happens if we win and I've got to really be a mayor? We've got a 2024 project. I said, we don't have a local government problem in South Africa. We've got a national problem, and I think 2024 is a crucial matter. But the guy said, look, you know what? Let us do one thing at a time. We'll cross this bridge when we get to it. And I think because I believe in God, God worked it out his own way. We are in government. We put this government in place. You remember these governments in Johannesburg, Tshwane and Ekurhuleni were put together by us as Action SA. We voted the DA to run, and I was only in council for 3 months, moved out, put in someone else. And I'm on the road to prepare for the 2024 big project. So I'm really glad, and I think that's how God worked it out.
Yeah.
That's my belief.
So let's start with Soweto. We saw those, protests in Maponya, in front of Maponya Mall, the march leading to the Joburg Mayor's office, heading over a memorandum of demands, I suppose. How deep-rooted are the issues in Soweto? In your experience as former mayor, just when you look at power, water, infrastructure issues, inequality, the quality of education, I can go on and on and on. How deep-rooted are those issues?
The issues in the City of Johannesburg are deep, real deep. I think, lucky enough, when I took over as a mayor in 2016, one of the first projects I embarked upon was to do the study of our infrastructure backlog. And at the time, 170 billion rands. Remember, as the media, I called you to really give you this infrastructure backlog, including the breakdown. And one of the issues I raised at the time was the supply of electricity in Soweto by Eskom as to why should I, as a mayor of the City of Johannesburg, take the responsibility? Every time there's electricity problems in Soweto, by Eskom, people of Soweto break down our infrastructure, our roads, burning tires and so forth. This is something that it's completely outside our control. And at the same time, the province and national government, actually, they were working towards the collapse of my government. I mean, it's an open secret. The provincial government and the national government, from day one, they made it really very clear that they want to collapse my government. So getting their support was non-existent.
Was that the problem, is that you couldn't get anything done because the politics just got in the way? There's always infighting. One party wants to get another party out, and you're so busy fighting with each other, you don't actually get anything done.
Absolutely. And it should really not really be there like that, because the Constitution has got intergovernmental relations that I think you can manage your relationship. But when you operate with people who are in government to steal, it's a challenge, because you can imagine we remove people who were there. It's like, I mean, we took bread out of their mouth. Instead of saying, no, they were not removed by us. They were removed by society, by the voters. But they didn't see it that way. They took it personal, as if we are the ones who voted them out. We went out to convince the voters to buy into our agenda, buy into our programs. But you can't really blame us. It's how a democratic system works. I remember at one stage there was this big march in Soweto, and the police, in fact, they advised me not to really go. I went into Soweto. I said, no, I'm going, because this is not my problem. Let me go and explain to this resident what the issue was. Against the advice of the police, I went, I stopped the people from barricading streets, called them in a public meeting. I explained to them how the structure of electricity supply in Soweto works. And I promised them, I said, guys, when I leave here, I'll go to the ESCOM, and I said, I'm not going to leave ESCOM until such time that I see senior management, and they must give me the commitment around working with us to get national government to change the system. From Soweto, I went straight to ESCOM. When I got to ESCOM, there was no one to see them. I said to ESCOM, I actually tweeted and media picked it up. I said, I'm not leaving here until senior management of ESCOM come and address this particular matter. That's really how people of Soweto really understand that it's a national competency, the supply of electricity. But I'm glad it looks like the mayor yesterday promised that he'll work with them so that they understand that this is a national competency, and national government is not prepared to really resolve this matter. Why? I think we need national government to explain why can't they give this responsibility to the city, because when the residents complain, they don't go to national government, they come to you as a city.
And that's exactly what even Tlantlala said yesterday, if you remember, Gareth, when Hadi Jocks, actually was Nobile Matala, posed the question, why aren't you going to ESCOM, for example, to table these issues? They said they want the mayor to address them. And I wonder if actually this will be resolved, because you as a former mayor, you try to have your strategies in place, talking to ESCOM, then you left office, now Mpopalatas to pick up, and those matters still haven't been resolved, and whether or not she continues for another term, I just wonder if it's not a touch-and-go situation where, at the end of the day, this matter around electricity in Soweto seems like it's not going to get an end.
Well, personally, I'm not confident, and I think I'm a positive person in life, but I think I'm pragmatic. For as long as you're going to have ANC at national government, it's going to be difficult for them to resolve this particular matter, because ANC is not in government to serve society. ANC is in government to ensure that they can look after their stomach. You can imagine if the City of Johannesburg, under our multi-party government, we take over ESCOM. You can imagine the nonsense that we've got to deal with. Because one thing for sure, for us, we don't really play. We're going to get the best forensic investigators to deal with the question of corruption in ESCOM. We are going to ensure that we put in a professional public service. We get rid of the cadres who don't know what they're there for. So they know all these dynamics. That's why I'm not really confident that they can really accept this, because ESCOM is sitting with massive issues that needs to really be addressed. And unfortunately for ANC, they've got to drag this for as long as possible to really cover their tracks. So they know if they allow us as a multi-party government, they know Action SA will push our coalition partners. Let's get forensic investigators. Let's get the Guptas out. If it means we must even use international law enforcement agencies to really come in.
Like the FBI, for example.
So ANC is very much aware about this. So I'm not confident that we'll see the resolution of this problem.
And we're going to talk about those problems a little bit later. I'll tell you why I say that, Mr. Mashaba, is because I think the reason a lot of people call on the mayor when there are these issues, because the mayor makes promises when they're going through the elections, don't they? We'll discuss it later. Promises are made. So we then have to come back to the mayors when there are problems to fix. We're going to have Herman Mashaba, Action SA leader, and of course, former Joburg mayor with us. Go ahead and tweet us. Use the hashtag the SA Morning. The Twitter handle is @ENCA. I've got my phone with me as well, @Gareth Edwards SA. Send me a couple of comments, questions if you've got.